chasing all these visions I have. As I move in the future, I can't live in the past. I know the answers, but I still got questions to ask. This awareness of myself is such a blessing to have. I woke up and chose love and threw the rest in the trash. I've been trying to make some bangers with the message attached. So you ain't gotta sacrifice the vibe to feel alive. So no matter where you reside, the middleman is on your side. I've been working 24, I cannot do no 9 to 5. If it ain't gas in my passion, then my drive gon' be deprived. I've been working like a slave for the mastery of self. If you work for the illusion, then you practically an elf. Don't make me take it there. Satan ain't playing fair. On my land, I'm at Santa. Oops, I didn't mean to share my opinion of who out here really sinning. Pass the plate and pay for wisdom and ignore your intuition. Tripping. Love never let me down. Light my way to the life force. That's my source. The biggest lies that you'll make it out alive. Death is always round the corner, ego never gonna survive. I don't say that as a negative, but hope is inspiration. A reminder not to overlook this beautiful creation that we living in. Take a deep breath, let the life force enter in. Hold it for a couple seconds, maybe even count to 10. Feel the warmth circulate, energy percolate. Then exhale with gratitude for everything that's working great. Just for the day, we gon' surrender, let love lead the way. Hey, just for the day, we ain't gonna worry about a thing. I ain't tripping over something that's already said and done. I'm here to embody light, hope you feeling the medicine. I hope that you never run, you stay and stick to your guns. It's not about what you get, it's about what you become. The biggest mistake that you can make is thinking that because you solid that you never gon' break. Oh, that's trauma. Don't be afraid to face the things you don't wanna, cause one day will come when you can't push it to mañana. Gotta put that on my mama, Mother Nature, the creator. Thank ya, hopefully I can return a favor somehow. Even when I want out, even when I'm feeling low, I can never run out of love. Love never let me down. Light my way to the life force. That's my source. This energy inside my heart gets stronger when I do my part. There can't be light if there's no dark. I can't give up before I start. This energy inside my heart gets stronger when I do my part. There can't be light if there's no dark. I can't give up before I start.
Peace and blessings from 113 of Orisha Stone. I did it again. Was on mute. You're now tapped in with the Serpent Bear with Melanated Immortals. How you doing, Goddess May I?
Hey, greetings. I ain't seen you in a minute.
Well, tonight, yes. You know, this is a special one for me. There we go. Because it's hard to have conversation with people if they don't understand what you're talking about or what kind of frequency you're speaking on. If they're on one dimension and you're on another dimension, it's real hard to communicate with people. So now that I found y'all, like it's like finding another home, and you have so many people from the Serpent clans and Dragon clans from in Melanated Immortals. I had to do a Serpent Bear show, because people, they still don't get it. It's a lot of people that play conscious and play like they know this and they talk about this and that, but they really don't know to have. So tonight we're gonna play a couple of videos, and I want to tap in with a couple of your priests to break down the Serpent wisdom, to break down the Serpent information and the Serpent activation. So I don't want to be rude. Can we go around the room and introduce your priests?
All right. So below me, I have Mutayosa TG, and she is like she's the clan mama. And she has been with us. I mean, when it was just me, Mutayosatiji was right there, and we just ashe, ashe. And so we said, well, we need to give her a title, right? And so we didn't want to do Queen Mother, and so we gave her the Mutayosatiji, which of course, you know, is the most vital and sacred serpent mother, and she is kin 25 and has a plethora of knowledge and wisdom on this very topic. So as soon as you said it, that's the first person I thought about. The second person I thought about was Brother Almoon, right there, kin number 85. We know him from, he and his wife have been with us for a long time as well. He goes all of his social media is Temple of Soul, and I got my first piece from him, right? The first one, I always got to show this one off. I know I'm wearing my Orisha stones tonight, but this is my first piece, and this was gifted to me by Temple of Soul. Every time I go somewhere, people are always asking about this piece, and so yes. So that's Brother Moon, also a serpent. And listen, there's probably not a subject that we can bring up that he can't talk about. So, you know, so I was just really excited to have him on as well. So, yes. So, I don't know if they got anything else to say, but, you know, hopefully I did okay with introducing them.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I definitely got to shout you out, Orisha Stone, for having us on here. And just, I don't know, it's like you've been with MIMEC, Melanated Immortals, for a long time, right? And it's only been months. So
No, man,
thank you
look,
for
we
having
been
us.
looking for each other forever, and OJ Yemi connected all the dots that need to be connected.
That's
So let's
right,
start off
Mama
right.
OJ Yemi.
Respect to the Monte, respect to the Monte, respect to the Monte. You know, sometimes you don't know all these different dragons' names, so you gotta be real respectful and call them Monte so you don't offend them, because them dragon and Naga spirits be real fickle sometimes. So with no further ado, I see her crown. I love that crown too, by the way. I see that red serpent. Goddess, please teach me something about the great divine serpent wisdom today.
Sure. The serpent wisdom is within us all. From the minute you go to bed at night, you should smile your way into sleeping. When you wake up, you want to smile your way into the new day. In the morning, when I wake up, I send the rainbow colors from my feet all the way up to my crown. Red, orange, yellow, the whole rainbow spectrum, and loop it down again. So you're making that orbit, you're making that circle. And then the way my room is positioned, it's a sunlit south-facing room. So I look at my skin, and I'm a serpent because my whole skin is rainbow flecks. So we are upright serpents. Now, women, we shed blood each and every month to get a new uterus. So that's indicative of shedding. In the morning, I roll my joints. I roll all my joints, my wrists, my elbows, my hips, my knees, my ankles, and then my neck. And that releases any stored chi. Because serpents, we store energy. We're very resourceful. So energy can get kind of congested or stuck, if you will. So moving those hips, moving your shoulders, gets it to flow. Using the hula hoop. So we have to work at it. We have to work at the universal flow, because what's out in the universe is actually inside of us. And this lapis lazuli reminds me of the night sky, the lapis lazuli sky. So we are constantly doing a dance with the universe, right? So when we do this, we open up our chakras and it's fed from the outside in. That spiral, that infinite loop, that figure 8. So yes, it's very obvious that the energy is within us and is without us. It's all around us. We have to call it in. Bring down a heavenly chi. Bring it down. You know, it's all around us. So we just have to command it because it's here to serve us. So that's one of the things, you know, that I want to say, because we bleed monthly, but then we give birth. The serpent lays eggs. We give birth to children, and we have that cord. So the serpent energy is just all around us. You know, it's not, you know, how the Bible puts it, an evil thing. You know, everybody has its shadow side, but the fact that it rejuvenates itself, it sheds what it no longer needs, and it exposes a more lovelier skin.
Yeah.
Anybody who needs healing should do that dance in the morning and really start off your day with a smile, end your day with a smile. Look at the rainbows in your own eyelashes and on your skin. Talk about eat the rainbow. Today is a wizard day, and we're showing up as the serpent. So yes, that's my piece right there. Thank you.
Oh man, you said so much amazing, powerful things. I didn't have to tell you. I forgot all about telling everybody we had to do our little stretch and everything else, and you came right on with it. Then you said the shed, and most of my pythons just shed today. And when you said that, every time you shed, it be bright and brand new and ready, like vibrant, vivid colors. So I'm really into that serpent wisdom because I'm big into Kalakmul, and Kalakmul is the original one. Well, it's loosely translated Kalakmul. Of course, they had other names for them, but Kalakmul represents the serpent dynasty of the Olmec and the Mayan. I have a couple videos if you want to go ahead and jump into one right now.
Oh, nice.
Let me see, because I really want to tap into this energy. Let's see, what's the first one? Let's try.
American botanist named Cyrus Lundell was flying in a small aircraft from the city of Campeche to his new assignment in Belize City, a sleepy Caribbean town in what was then British Honduras. Lundell was an assistant physiologist with the Tropical Plant Research Foundation based in Washington, D.C. The foundation sent the young botanist to British Honduras to assist with experiments involving the sapodilla tree, which yields chicle, then used for making chewing gum. While flying above what seemed like endless jungle somewhere over the eastern part of the Mexican state of Campeche, Lundell noticed massive buildings peeking out of the forest canopy. He noted the coordinates and passed them on to academics interested in Maya ruins. Sylvanus G. Morley of the Carnegie Institution, who was down at Chichen Itza at the time, took great interest in the ruins as they had not previously been reported by anyone to date. Morley would later lead an expedition to the site overland in 1932. The reason why no one knew of this place before is because the ancient city was almost 100 miles away from the nearest town in the middle of the largest expanse of tropical forest in the Americas outside the Amazon. No one owned the land on which the ruins stood. No Spaniard in colonial history or contemporary Maya had been to this no man's land just north of the invisible border with Guatemala. Morley and his crew mapped the tree-enshrouded city, which seemed to go on, disappearing into the impenetrable vegetation. Although Morley and his team were the first to visit the ruins, the honor of naming this true lost city went to Cyrus Lundell, who spotted it first from the windows of his plane. He decided to call the site Kalakmul, which is a combination of 3 Maya words, Ka, which means to, Lak, meaning adjacent, and Mul, which means pyramid or artificial mound. So Kalakmul then means the place of the 2 side-by-side pyramids. At the time of its discovery, no one knew how to read ancient Maya glyphs, and no one could recognize the city's glyph if they did discover it. We know now that the ancient Maya called the core of the city Osh-te-Tu'un, which loosely translates to the place of the three stones. The larger kingdom that Calakmul ruled over may have been called Chi'ik Naab. This is a phonetic reading of an ancient Maya glyph, which may have been associated with the greater kingdom of Calakmul. No one has yet been able to figure out the meaning of the name Chi'ik Naab. There is also a snake-headed name glyph associated with the ruling dynasty of Calakmul, the Khan family. In the 1990s, Calakmul was dubbed the Snake Kingdom by some researchers because of this dynastic glyph. The reach of the Khan family was so great, and the kingdom so powerful, the snake-headed name symbol has a greater distribution throughout the ancient Maya world than any other emblem glyph. This colossal...
Now, peace, goddess may have. Oh, did somebody just purr? No, but did you hear what he just said about the Mayan glyphs and the original? They're finding things that it goes so far back, and it's all serpent dynasties, all the way to Cuba, all the way to Florida, all the way to all these different lands, even to the serpent mounds in Ohio. And this is something we're not really tapping into. Yeah. Some people try to shy away from and everything else. Then they had the nerve to say nobody could translate those glyphs. No, they couldn't translate those glyphs. But then I meet yourself. I meet Neb Tahaka. I meet Winter, Mr. Clyde Winters, and y'all are actually breaking down the glyphs. And not only breaking it down, y'all do shows every pretty much Fridays and Sundays where you're breaking down the what do you call it when you say the whole tab of the day and you're talking about the kin numbers and everything else. Yes. So
aligning with the cycles,
aligning with the cycles, I say. So, brother Amun, you saw that video. How do you feel about that video and the Serpent Dynasty of Calakmul?
Well, well, peace to all of y'all. Man, I am familiar with some of that, but seeing it again just now brought questions and memories forward. But the first thing it brought forward was the sound, the name Calakmul, and what the Lundell, what his translation was, and understanding that he's just another archaeologist coming across names, words, sounds, and places, trying to figure out what words match the idea the best way that he can, right? But when I hear Kalak, I hear the Arabic word Kalak, which means creator, right? And the word mu means essence, right? So when you say Calakmul, what I heard you say is creator's essence, right? So to start this conversation off with a reference like the name Calakmul, and for this to be Orisha stone, melanated Immortals unity, ancient Olmec cipher, I think that creator's essence is more in tune with our translation, our embrace, our exercise, and our practical observation of what serpent fire really is about. Now, whether or not the beings there were draconians or ancient Atlantean beings, or if this is the first foundation of the Vulcans or Maldekians that came from what they called a missing planet or the rogue planet that were here. All of these things are just ideas of who they were to continue in the serpent head snake figurine character. However, how we translate it as a place of creative essence and creative power, so that we can access that, because one thing we understand about the physiology of human beings is that the reptilian form, the amphibian form of us is primary. What were we traveling up the birth canal of our mothers? We're tadpoles, right? And then the supreme serpent or the supreme tadpole is now the upright serpent. Right now, your skull, the skull of a human being, is still the head of the sperm cell. The spine is still the flagellum. It's still the tail. The only difference is now the egg we're swimming towards is the sun. We're swimming to the sun now. And the proper activation of the serpentine fire, awakening of the serpentine fire, assists in that translation of cosmic light down to earth and the raising up of the terrestrial being towards the solar being. So bringing it right back to this amazing city of Calakmul. I don't know what it was, but for beings like us, what it is a place where we can exercise that relationship of the terrestrial form, remembering the cosmic life force energy and having that wave of serpentine fire ascending, as well as being proper receivers for that which is descending into our form.
I say. But one thing I will say is, sometimes being humble, you don't gotta be humble on this channel at all, man. You most definitely brought it. But I will say we don't gotta be humble when we say we don't know who they were. They are us. We are them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The same people that you see on there right now, I can guarantee you I can show you a glyph on those hieroglyphic walls that look like this goddess and that goddess right there. And I'll show some videos of that too. I bring evidence. I bring truth written in stone. Calakmul represents us. He didn't create the word, he found the word. You know, they always take credit for it. I'm gonna get into that too. I didn't play the whole video, but he didn't create the word, he found the word. He just like when if you find a cell phone on the sidewalk or $100 on the sidewalk, you're the founder of that cell phone, or you found it. You didn't create it, you didn't, you know what I'm saying? So no, the Calakmul represents us, the originals. He said 400 BC to their knowledge.
Right.
400 BC to their knowledge of their dating. And you already know they're horrible with time. Clearly, either they're horrible with time or they're just bald-faced lying, one or the other. But neither here nor there. Goddess may I. How do you feel about that landmass Calakmul?
But you know what?
Real quick because the reason I asked you is because you've been to Mexico, you've been to those pyramids, and you've seen the glyphs. So for somebody that's actually been there and actually experienced it with your own eyes, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, so a couple of things hit me with that. One, I heard Eek in the name as well. When he was talking about how they couldn't translate, it was Eek something, and I can't remember. And Eek is the wind, right? And so I was, trying to make that connection. Eek Naab or something like that. That's what I heard. Those glyphs, that's all over Mexico. I hadn't been to those exact pyramids, but the ones in Chalcaxingo, and they had the same, like those pictures on the wall. Like, I mean, please, like you said, there are pictures of us on the walls, right? And it reminded me when you were talking about the Serpent Mound in Ohio, because I had gone to the Serpent Mound in Ohio, and those mounds communicate with you, because I know we got Brother Hawkeye coming up. I had shared the story with him of what happened when I went to the Serpent Mound in Ohio, and you can see it just right there. If you are standing above it, you can see the whole thing. It looked just like that snake, the python you got wrapped around your arm. Look, I got mine too, but mine is copper. I don't know what that one. So yeah, it brought back that same energy that I got from, like you said, they're interconnected. It brought back the same energy that I was getting from going to the Serpent Mound in Ohio. But I got to listen again, because they said that name had Eek in it. So I was like, ooh, okay. Is like the spirit of the serpent, right? That's what, because Eek is the wind, but it's the spirit. And so that's what I was looking at. I just couldn't translate that other word, but I did hear Eek in there. So I'm thinking it would probably translate into something like the spirit of the serpent or something like that. But I'm not sure. I got to listen to it again.
Yes, well, I got a couple different videos, and all I'm doing is giving us a little map We got to do our own research because we're all going to bring something back different. Every time you go out and do the research, we're going to bring something back different. I talked to Dr. Clyde Winters, and his perspective of what he was breaking down and deciphering is something completely different from what I got from it. And he's the one that broke it down. You know what I'm saying? So I do have a couple more videos because these stones, these glyphs also explain that this is a matriarch society. This is the astronomy society. This is a stone society. And the reason they fell out is because of ego and power and everything else, because we know about Tikal and Pakal. Are you familiar with them? And
Pakal, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Pakal, definitely.
I want to study the whole entirety of the Olmec. I want to know, because they've been hiding it for too long for us not to deep dive into this information. So I'm gonna play a couple more videos, because for us to be representatives of this new Olmec tradition, or this Olmec or Melanated Immortals tradition, right? We got to tap into those real guys, them godmothers and them godfathers. So I'm gonna pop one more up real quick.
Legends and myths. Today,
I'll be telling you the story about the mighty Kukulkan, the feathered serpent deity of Mayan mythology. Kukulkan, also known as the feathered or plumed serpent god, was a prominent figure in the religion and mythology of Mesoamerica, specifically the Yucatec Mayan. He is also identified as the feathered serpent god Quetzalcoatl by the Toltecs and Aztecs, as Gucumatz to the Quiché Mayan of Guatemala, and Eacatl, the wind god of the Huastecs of the Gulf Coast. Kukulkan and his other manifestations are all unified by the belief that each was considered a creator god and a bringer of rain and winds. The god is particularly associated with Chichen Itza, where a large temple was built in his honor. Kukulkan is also the name of a 10th century CE cultural hero in Yucatec Mayan history, and he has a counterpart in the Toltec and Aztec histories, where he carries the name CE Acatel Topiltzin Quetzalcoatl. The feathered serpent god remains today a powerful symbol of Mexican indigenous cultural heritage. The serpent was a very important social and religious symbol, revered by the Mayan. Mayan mythology describes serpents as being the vehicles by which celestial bodies, such as the sun and stars, cross the heavens. The shedding of their skin made them a symbol of rebirth and renewal. The words sky and snake have the same pronunciation in both English and Mayan. The Yucatec Mayan were, and still are, speakers of the Yucatec language, and they settled the Yucatan Peninsula in the north of ancient Mesoamerica. Their chief god was the feathered serpent Kukulkan, whose name means just that, feathered Kukul and serpent Khan. Kukulkan was a creator god, and the god of rain, wind, storms, and life. Throughout Mesoamerica, the snake, because of its living habits, became a symbol for life both below and above the earth, and so it was considered a point of connection between the gods and humanity. The open mouths of snakes were identified with caves, which give access to the underworld, and their bodies are often given sky symbols in Mesoamerica. The figure first appears, albeit rarely, in carvings of the Olmec civilization, which prospered in pre-classical formative Mesoamerica from 1200 BCE to 400 BCE. Not much more is known about Kukulkan, except that the god had major temples dedicated to him at Chichen Itza, Mayapan, Uxmal, and others. The Yucatec Mayan believed that a man called Kukulkan, a cultural hero who is either a ruler or priest, had come to or even founded Chichen Itza in the northern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula. This individual and his followers had come from the legendary city of Tula or Tolan, a name often applied to any large settlement. It was said that Kukulkan and his followers took the city by force, defeating the city's first settlers, whom the Mayan called the Itza. The hero Kukulkan is also credited with founding other cities in the region, such as Mayapan, which replaced Chichen Itza as the region's dominant city. Interestingly, in the later traditions of the Aztec civilization, 1345 to 1521 CE, an individual called CE Acatl Topiltzin Quetzalcoatl had left Tolan, the capital of the Toltec civilization, to travel to the lands in the east. The Toltecs had preceded the Aztecs and flourished in the 10th to 12th centuries CE. and they were considered founders of their culture. For both the Yucatec.
Now, this goes way back because I know in a lot of lores, when they start getting into it, they try to switch it up and say, oh, Kukulkan, he's white man, he's this. And it's really weird how they just do that. But if you look at all the glyphs, Kukulkan looks like pretty much me. He got locks, dark-skinned man. They look on the glyphs on the pyramid walls when you go into Mexico. A lot of people go to Mexico and get drinks in a sombrero and soda candy. That's it. That's what you went to Mexico for? Or you can go to Mexico and look at these ancient. Did you see the map on there when they showed you how far Mexico is from Florida? And you know for yourself, and I'm gonna bring people on here that's actually walked the pyramids in Florida, and they said, and they've seen these pyramids, and they did these pyramids just as old as those pyramids that they're saying are Aztec and Mayan. They're not Aztec and Mayan. They're Olmec. The Aztec and Mayans are, like I said, those are the founders. I found something that doesn't mean they created it. They found these ancient pyramids with these serpents and black bases on them, and they said, yo, we're going to try to reinvent the wheel, and it didn't work out that great for the Aztecs at all. But it also talks, go ahead, guys, you had something to say?
And they tell you that too. Like when you go on the, like on the real tour, right? Like I said, when I went, we went to Chalcazingo, there was a man who literally had your face. I'm telling you, he had your face, your complexion, everything. The only difference, his hair was straight. And he told us, they will, they told us, they said, yeah, we're the keepers of this. Like you said, the founders, we found it. It was already here. This is not what we developed. And so when they see us, that was the experience I had. When they see us, they want to take us to those sites and then explain to us, these different things, and then tell us, hey, welcome home. Because what I'm saying, you're gonna see yourself here.
Activated. I'll show you. Activated. Yeah, the Serpent Wisdom is amazing. I have this book that this speaks on a lot of the Olmec as well, Return of the Serpent Wisdom. And it's helping you, hold on. One of my favorite pages right here, hold on. When they're breaking down how the Olmec is actually a serpent society. And most of the, like, if you get this book, we could do a whole lecture on this book alone. I can't find it right now, but this book alone breaks down all societies, but all societies reach back. Even the Masonic society reaches back to the Olmec, to the ancient Olmec. The ancient Olmec, they go all the way back to the stars, so we don't even know where they came from. This is similar to what we see in the Dogon, but they're older than the Dogon. It's from my information, everybody's having a hard time finding something older than that. You see what I'm saying? So, when we look at that serpent energy, I try to lead up to saying it like this: we're ignoring it, but while they got us thinking the serpent is the devil, the serpent is actually our God. We call it Turtle Island because we're scared to say this is the land of the plumed serpent. When he said the Gulf Coast, do you know what the Gulf Coast is? That's all them places from New Orleans, Slidell, Gulfport, Biloxi, all the places we go for, you know what I'm saying, on the beach or whatever, for cruising the coast. They're talking about where we're from. Those where all those indigenous Mississippians are from. All those Louisiana people are from. When they say he's the god of the Gulf Coast, or this is the land of the plumed serpent, they're talking about us. They just say Aztec and everything else to try to throw you off. So I also want to play one more video from this very, very wise goddess, because they were talking about the shedding. We have to look at shedding as a real ritual. This goddess right here is amazing. Give her 1 second, please.
She said she was from the stars and that she was only going to be here just to deliver this message. And she told us to give our menstrual blood back to the earth. This was the first time I was hearing this. This was many moons ago. I no longer flower, but within that time, I started to ritually give my blood back to the earth, a peaceful blood, unaborted blood. The earth knows your name and knows why you came. So with a pure prayer, just like the prayer of the 7 galactic directions, I know if sisters, women, my daughters would do this in mass, we would have the end of all wars.
That was the ritual right there. And let's have those uncomfortable conversations, because like I said, there's nobody here but us, right? Just the serpent child, right? So Let's have those uncomfortable conversations. Bloodletting. When we talk about we're this and this, everybody want to be Omec till it's time to do Omec things. And bloodletting is an important ritual for that we're supposed to do. The women use their menstrual blood, and the men are supposed to cut themselves. We don't do that anymore. You cut yourself, and you, like she said, bleed on the land. Or back then, I'm not going to talk about now because they got these biological mosquitoes. But back in the day, you let the mosquitoes, as a ritual, you would let the mosquitoes bite on you. Why? Because the only mosquitoes biting on you is the females, and they take that blood back to the where? They take that blood back to the water. The water, what this guy just said, the water identifies who you are. Just like the trees. If she's talking about putting blood at the oak tree, do you know how many rituals you can do by putting blood by the oak tree? And the oak tree reaches the earth, heaven, and hell, who you can communicate with. So that shed is very important because you got to shed daily. We always change. We always evolve. The reason the serpent is still here and nobody's paying attention to it, first off, when the brother was saying about this planet, right? And we said it's another entity, but it's really us because this whole planet was reptile before anything else came down here. We don't want to acknowledge that part. Can't nobody take over something that was already there? This whole planet is reptilian. You are reptilian. Your mind is reptilian. Your survival mode, all your survival instincts comes from that reptilian mind frame. The webbing comes from reptilian. The brother just said started off as tadpoles. You know what I'm saying? So don't let it go over your head. Then we can go further where this goddess was talking about moving her Kundalini energy. All this serpent wisdom out here. Then we go to all these esoteric nations, and all of them have a serpent on their third eye, serpent sitting on their head, and we can go all the way around. But right now, we're just talking about the Americans. We can go to Kemet, we can go to ancient Nagas, we can go all around the world, and we will. But I really want to focus on us. What we doing right here in America, the copper colored people, and we're ignoring it. And we everybody's conscious up until it's time to look in the face of the dragon or a serpent and realize that this is your brother. This is your child. We are one. This is a messenger. If you scry, and they tell you this in ancient the temple of the Python in Dahomey. If you talk to the Python, you can make a wish when he's drinking water or they're drinking water. That's when you make a wish. When they're at the water well. So before we rotate, because I do want to get some other priesting real quick, I want to go around one more time for some serpent wisdom. Goddess Moot. I don't want to mispronounce your last name, could curse myself. But Red Serpent, can you please give us some more serpent? And I'm gonna bring you back. I just want to rotate a little bit, but can you give us some more serpent wisdom before we rotate out?
Sure. I think a good way to raise the Kundalini in and to really have that orgasmic feeling before sex is dancing, trance dancing, dance to your sweat and in your own home. I had a reading done by Baba Ishangi, who is a great ancestor. He was my African dance teacher. And he said, dance till you sweat in your own home. You do not have to go to parties. Parties are great. I'm a serpent. We love to party. But celebrate in your own home and dance. Because that movement will free up any stored energy. Because we are life force. We show up as life force. We can pull the energy from the stars, from the moon, and up from the ground, right? So another way is, of course, the uterine egg, inserting the uterine egg because they are crystals. And you can do a jade egg, you could do a crystal egg, but this, you lubricate it and you do your Kegels. And it's a very good way to strengthen your uterine walls, but really send a rippling effect up your spine as well. So we want to be tight. We want to be juicy. We want to be, ready, and that's a good way. Another way is just having the tip of your tongue at the roof of your mouth, like just during the day. So you can keep that energy just going up and locked in. Galactic yoga is very good because that way you travel through the chakras, you tap into the tone of the day and the plasmic energy, and you do a mantra. So spiritual practice will cultivate this energy, but you can experience your Kundalini rising just by watching, watching my grandchildren. Or, a good movie or reading a good book or being in someone's company. The main thing we want to do, we want to rise. keep the vibration high wherever we go. Because serpents, we vibrate to the 5th tone, which is radiant and commanding. So we bring the energy. People feel us when we're in the room. And sometimes we're not the loudest and we're not the smartest. But when the serpent is in the room, you're going to feel the energy because the natural radiance that emanates from that person. And that's how people remember me, because of my energy. Now, I'm in my late 60s, but I've done practices, and my mother was a Buddhist from Philadelphia. Oshun, like your mom.
I
Mother
see.
Street, Philly. She was a Buddhist, and so she was a yogini. So I grew up doing yoga. You know, she was a Buddhist, so I grew up chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And then I went to the mosque. You know, later as I evolved.
Me
So
too.
certainly seeking their we hold ancient wisdom in our bodies. So we store things. My aunt had said this before. You ask a serpent something, they are very resourceful. They may not have the answer, but they can connect you with that person. And as far as money goes, we never run out of money. We always have money. We store it. We store it because we're so rich in giving that the universe always gives to us. Always gives to us.
Everything you said, I 100% agree with, except for one thing. When you said serpents in the room might not be the smartest one in the room, yes, they are. They play. Look, we can play dumb all we want, but the serpent, we don't have no ears. We ain't trying to hear no gossip. We don't. They don't gossip. They don't hear none of it. All they do is watch and observe, and watch your movements, and watch your patterns, and watch your energy. Like you said, we see you from a mile away. You can turn the lights off, and I can read your heat signature. You see what I'm saying? When you talk about the serpents, they're watching everything. They are the smartest ones in the room. And like everything else you said was like, even when it comes to the currency, for us, we're supposed to exchange currency like the serpent moves from hand to hand. That's how we're supposed to exchange currency with each other.
Exactly.
Back and forth in an infinite 8 roll. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the energy always comes back to you, and we can bounce back around. We talk about cosmic forces. We can talk about Oxamare. Oxamare is a energy, a abundance energy. You know what I'm saying? Where even Oya is more of a crocodile. Osun is more of a frog because she's a fertility deity, but they're still reptiles. So when people be talking about the reptilians and reptilian, that there's different kinds of reptilians, and one of them just so happens to be us. You know what I'm saying? So, God, Amun, what do you have before we rotate out? What do you have on this serpent activation and serpent energy?
So much good stuff has already been said, you know what I mean? But you know, I just want to continue where I guess we're all leading off, but where I left off too, like considering that we are universal with serpentine fire, right? That we are descending into the earth plane from higher realms outside of the sphere, or apparently above, as well as we are ascending from beneath. So one of the things to like even look at is like when Mama Goddess Tahita said she's in her upper 60s, right? You know, one of the practices that I practice as an Amun is what we call black light numbers, right? So your black light number is like, if you're 55, your black light number is 45, right? So at 50, like you're actually older when you're young and you're younger when you're old. But how do you quantify that? How do you make that practical? You make it practical through the exercise, right? So various exercises we do that involve things that wave and spin, such as qigong, such as tai chi. A lot of people who are aware of the different exercises that go with the rolling of the wrists. And even if those of y'all who are watching right now, my crew that's in here right now, go ahead and do this with your wrists right now. Roll your wrists in circles. All right. And then let it roll up your forearms. And then let it roll up your elbows. And then roll it back. This is an amazing exercise. Some people consider it martial arts, but this is actually a serpentine chi exercise, right? Do it at the wrists, then roll it up the forearms, then take it down to the elbows, and then bring it right back up. When you feel that energy rolling up, that serpentine fire in your hands, right? So our conduct with the whole move your body like a snake, right? Swimming. right? There are many things we can do in our physical body. Discipline, physical discipline, is the activation of the serpentine fire. A lot of people who are in this community, in this dialogue conversation, which I hear less about it nowadays, people are off in other things, but conversations about the chakras are very important. The word chakra means wheel, right? Wheel of what? Wheel of light, right? So we know that the chakras superimpose each other, rotating the opposite direction. The looming of the light body is a subtle crystalline light effect that functions from a magnetic core. That magnetic light interaction attracts the bacteria of the earth. The bacteria of the earth in all of its forms are elemental. Hence, we are elemental beings in the dense form that are corresponding with a sonic magnetic light body, which is the serpentine light being, the Etherian being, right? Ascending and descending. However, in this timeline, the exercise, the work is majorly how you honor the physical form you're born in for this time and space. So those movements are very, very important. But as we discuss serpentine fire, just like the different chakras have different colors, those are different colors of fire. So oftentimes, even when we talk about the serpent, well, what color serpent, right? You talk about the rainbow serpent, but sometimes the rainbow serpent is expressing itself more in orange and red and not so much in green and blue. So it might need to strengthen itself in the heart and the throat capacities, right? And of course, the throat, you know, as far as some of the other languages are concerned, the throat is Gebrael. What does Gebrael communicate? The relationship between the heavens and the earth, right? Right here, it's all there in what you say and what you do. A lot of times people think about the serpent, they think about the snake, and what's the sound? That is a wonderful sound to work in your personal service. Interestingly enough, Big Sis just talked about what? Tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Try to make an S sound without the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. You need your tongue to be at the roof of the mouth to even make this, to make that S sound. You're depending on the air, the eek, sliding by the tongue as the tongue is reaching for the roof of the mouth, right? How does this play out in the English language, right? How does this play out? Things become plural when the serpent is present. The presence of the S makes it more than one. It becomes many at the presence of the S. In the Revelations, it said what? I am the Alpha and the Omega. The Alpha is the 1. The Omega is the 9. What's the 19th letter of the alphabet? S. So this is going right back to Kalik Mu. What does Mu mean? Mu means water, but Mu also means, essence. Okay, that sounds real serpentine to me.
I say, man, you be breaking it down. I see now why God has made. I've been trying to link me and you up for a while. We most definitely got to do a mineral report together. But tonight we on the serpent bearer, the serpent wisdom. So I'm gonna play one more video, and I am gonna bring y'all back, man. So please stay with us because we're gonna have fun with this. Well, I really want to get to the knowledge of it, more knowledge and less fun. But knowledge is fun, so whichever one.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see. Boom.
You abandoned
114 of Mexico Unexplained, where we examine the magic, the mysteries, and the miracles of Mexico. I'm your host, Robert Bitto. The 55-year-old Antonio de Leon y Gama shivered with excitement when he arrived at the southeast corner of the Zócalo on that hot August day in Mexico City. The year was 1790. And the capital city of colonial New Spain was buzzing with news of the discovery of a gigantic statue, almost 9 feet tall, of what appeared to be a hideous monster. Antonio de Leon was a noted astronomer, anthropologist, and prolific writer on scientific topics. He was much respected in Mexico City and would later write a book about this statue and the Aztec calendar stone which was discovered nearby later that year. Breaking with the convention of previous Aztec chroniclers, in his book De Leon praised the ancient civilization that created the sculpture, which is seen by some historians as indicative of a growing sense of nationalism and Mexican pride in late 18th century New Spain, only a few decades away from Mexico's independence. In the book, the author described the 9-foot-tall grotesque monster as the god Teoyamiki. He had failed to notice the sagging breasts indicating a middle-aged woman, and didn't tie the snake imagery to the goddess to which it rightfully belonged, Coatlicue. Indeed, the massive carving clearly had a skirt made of writhing snakes, and a belt tied at the ends with the heads of snakes. Her feet were claws with eyes, and she wore a sacrificial necklace of severed human hands and torn-out hearts. She was decapitated, with an artistic representation of spurting blood where her head should have been. To many people in Mexico City, those of European and mixed ancestry especially, the statue was perceived as anywhere from repulsive to demonic. As the word spread among the indigenous population of colonial Mexico City, however, the Coatlicue sculpture started to attract a special reverence. People began bringing offerings to her and lit candles at her clawed feet. As attention around the carving grew, and so did its controversy, the Viceroy himself ordered the statue to be reburied. A special site was selected in a patio at the University of Mexico, and it was interred for good. That was until the visit of Alexander von Humboldt, some 13 years later. In 1803, Coatlicue was brought to see the light of day again so that the visiting German scientist could make drawings and a plaster cast of her, after which she was reburied, but not for good. The goddess was dug up again 20 years later in a newly independent Mexico on the request of wealthy British naturalist and antiquarian William Bullock, who took her to London and displayed her at the Egyptian Hall in Piccadilly as part of an exhibition of artifacts from Mexico and the South Seas. The statue was later returned to Mexico and is now housed at the National Museum of Anthropology.
Peace. Now, 40% of that was bullshit. And he kind of called it out himself when he said, yo, the first dude called it this god. And he said it was a god, it was everything else, but he missed that it was a woman. And so they miss certain things on purpose, and they try to, now that also goes back to when they be like, oh, if the Olmecs were a matriarch society, then where are their statues? They just showed you. They also lied and said that, oh, they just buried it just because. They destroyed everything else. Why do you think they didn't destroy that? And they said she was decapitated. Clearly she wasn't. She had a serpent head. She actually has 2 serpent heads. So she clearly wasn't decapitated. If you look at it, we have to break the translation with our own eyes and our own third eye. We can't let them translate it and tell us what these glyphs mean. We know them. It activates us. They're melanin activated. Now, going back to this is called serpent skirt. Serpent skirt is the mother of the society. When you also look into Veracucha, Cucucan, Quetzalcoatl, Marcus Coro, there's all these different deities that if we really tap into them, if we're saying that we're the Olmec society, we're tapping into this information. Coming on, we have a red dragon herself, Goddess Ambrosia. How you doing, Goddess Ambrosia?
Peace. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm loving this topic here because it's definitely so many misconceptions about it. So I'm here. I'm vabbing. So you want me to dab into it now, or you're just checking in on me?
Yeah. Well, definitely we're gonna move around the room. You most definitely gonna have your time. I wanted you to introduce yourself, your kin number. What is your galactic kin sign?
Okay, so yes, I am the 5th Force Oracle, Moon Goddess Ambrosia. I am kin 181, the Red Crystal Dragon, And the red dragon, I saw one of our priestess initiate sisters or one of my initiate sisters mentioned in the chat that the dragon is the one that activates the serpent. So you know, so that's who I am. And yeah, like I said, I'm ready to jump into it, to be honest, because there's a lot of misconceptions around this. So yeah.
And I'm not even worried about the ones that's misconcepting nothing. I'm worried about us building the new Kalakmul, the new Emerald City. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to convince nobody of nothing. I'm not trying to convert you. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not knocking on your door asking you if you talk to your Lord and Savior, you're Quetzalcoatl today. None of that. What I'm talking about is connecting us. You know what I'm saying? North, south, east, west. Y'all already doing it. Melanated Immortals is already doing y'all thing. I'm trying to bring OJ Yemi brought me to y'all because me and this brother were already into our artifacts and artifact hunting. And we were finding different artifacts. And in the process of finding them, OJ Yemi was like, I know somebody that can translate that calendar. And she introduced me to Goddess Mayat and Nebtahaka. I should have had Nebtahaka on tonight. But I want to keep doing this because I don't care about the misconception. I care about us evolving. It's all about us.
So yeah, even when it comes to that, like, so we got to really tap into our third eye and get into the symbolism of these statues. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me, because that's when we do tap into that divine consciousness. Like, we got to use our own intuition while we see these images, and we talking about it, meditate on it, whatever we do with it. Anytime we encounter like this serpent energy, because like when we really think about it, that's our life force. Like, that's what makes us move and stuff. We was just back here doing all of this and that. Like, this is what gets us moving. Because if we didn't have that energy inside of us, what would we be? Like, just sack of meat, basically, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm just here. So I feel like it should be like we doing a conversation style, or
yeah. Let's go ahead and let's introduce Brother Hawkeye, and then we're gonna circle back around. Brother Hawkeye, you're on mute. You're on mute.
There we go. Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, and I see that python.
I was trying to keep it out of the way for a second, but definitely got a beautiful girl here. But we'll talk about her more in just a second. She's she ain't camera shy, as you can see.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't know if did you already introduce yourself, Hawk?
Briefly, but I am.
No, you on mute. You on mute.
Okay.
When you were talking, so you can probably gotta do it again.
I am Hawkeye Ken 196. That's the yellow magnetic warrior. Hailing out of Texas tonight. Just here to talk a little bit and share a little bit about the serpent energy and the serpents.
I shall say, and the reason he's got to sit tonight with me is because he's actually did the initiation. He did his serpent bearer initiation. He walked the mounds. He went to the top of the mountains and talked to the ancestors. And then when he walked back down, he took 3 dragons with him. So now we teaching them ancient Valeria, Draconis. What's the name again, Chief?
This one is Tawa. This is Big Mama. And I'm going to tie that in just a minute. This is Big Mama. That's why I brought her out. I have 2 others, but this is Big Mama. So she definitely has some relevance tonight in the story that I'm going to tell about serpents. For sure.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
High Priestess. Let's start with you, Goddess. You got us on this next tier, and we were dragons now. We were a dragon goddess. We were one of my dragon brothers. Do you have any questions, or do you want to go in any direction with this? What information you want us to go with this information?
Yeah. So actually, I was, it's so funny. So when one of my nicknames for Moon Goddess is TAF, right? And that's a telepathic AF, right? So when she first came on, in looking at the statue, right? The first thing that happened was I was like, whoa, this is telling a story. This is not some grotesque thing that's trying to scare people. It's telling a story of what I got from it, and it's just my perspective. I'm not saying I'm right. I ain't saying I'm wrong. I'm just saying it's a perspective. It was telling the story about the separation, part of where we are now. The fact that they kept, they had it up and then they buried it, right? And then they pulled it up again, and then they kept moving it around and everything. And the fact that it had all these hands, it had all these heads and different things, and then the neck cut off. To me, symbolizing that we're gonna forget, where we came. We're forgetting the life force that we actually have, and coming from the mother with the big mama. And I'm gonna let Moon Goddess get into that part of how the dragon sends the energy. The first energy from the dragon goes to the serpent, right? But having the sagging breast, and then having the serpent, showing that this is it was a remembrance piece to me. It was like, and definitely when they showed the one, I don't know what that material was, the green one, when they showed it in green, that one had the most energy, right? And it was just like, it was triggering. I bet if you sit there and you look at that thing over and over and over again, it's going to start pulling out all of this different information. But that's what I saw when I was looking at it. But I really, again, I'm excited to have everybody here, and I really want to hear what TAF got to say about that, right? So yeah, I will yield.
I say, Goddess, Miss Moon Goddess, right?
Yeah.
Moon Goddess Orisha, the red crystal dragon herself. Please, what does this mean to you in your life? How do you activate this? Or is it just something that you talk about, or is it something that you live? What does the red crystal dragon mean in your life?
Well, let me tell you this. Before I even found out what my kin number was, I'm on this website and I said, I feel like I created this. That's the first, I only saw the numbers. I just saw 4, 7, 13, 20. Like, I just saw all the numbers, and I got a whole bunch of connections with these numbers. And I'm like, what is this? I was like, I feel like I created this before, like I said, before I got my kin number. And so what it means to answer your question, I've been living this. Like, I was living it before I even knew I was Kin 181, the Red Crystal Dragon. And just seeing it, just like how Priestess just mentioned, like with the symbols or seeing the statue, when I seen my kin number, it was a remembrance. Like that was like the activation of the remembrance for me. And so, even it was divine of how I encountered it. Like, I just asked, I was like, what is time really? I was going through this phase of figuring out how I want to navigate in my purpose, because I knew I had more gems and wisdom to share to people that was bigger than just doing tarot readings. And so, fast forwarded, I got introduced to the cosmology, and then everything else just started pouring in straight like that. It was just like I got the answer to what is time and everything else that I asked for in that one single question. And so what it means for me is like, I just been walking it. It's just now I have a way to correlate the way that I've been connecting with energies by utilizing the cosmology and understanding how the 20 archetypes work and the different frequencies that they put out there. So honestly, that's what it means to me. Or, I guess what also came to mind from you asking that question, what does it mean to be a red dragon? Well, if you read the archetype decree, it says, I am the primal force coded by the red dragon. My number is 1. Like, I have yet to remember the whole thing, but I got that part. I know it's talking about basically looking at me is like looking back to the origin. It talks about from the place of the star makers and star masters. Like, it's giving you all the gems in the primal force energy, aka this life force. Well, I kind of got a different perspective of it. So it's the primal force and then the life force. Like, that's how I understand it. So the primal force is like the big mama, and it's just so funny too that your baby in your hands is your big mama, like your snake over there. I'm like, yo, this is lit right now. But like, so the primal force is like the the big mama source energy that comes in that gives birth to life. You know, we even got the womb space to create a whole new being, like, you know. So that dragon energy is like just like really big on like nurturing, just giving birth to a being. So that primal force is what shifts into the life force. So I got like a whole visual of how it happens. So it's like a beam of light just coming to the womb space. Then it cultivate in the egg, and then it starts to do its thing and starts to form into a being. And then as that being, you know, continue to grow, it starts to integrate itself, just like what Brother Amun was just saying about that sperm being the spinal cord. Like, I was back here, I was like, I remember when I found out that gem about it, you know. So, you know, that sperm helped to establish the structure and the foundation for us to be able to move and create and pick up things and, you know, do all of that. But the force that energy force that gets us, that really animates us, is the primal force. And when it's in our body, that's what makes it the life force now, because it's not just from the primal source, it's in a life form now for us to, you know, do all this movement. And so, like, that's how I like to look at how the cosmology connects with, or help me to understand the whole process of how we got here in the first place and what we're here to do. So I feel like I said a lot, so I'm gonna pause for a second.
No, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it because, like I said, I really live by this. I follow. I even got the book. Have y'all ever heard of the book, the Follow the Draconian Path?
I haven't.
It's really, really deep, esoteric, and I love what I gotta say earlier, that there's good and there's bad. But when you know your purpose, you can most definitely do some good. I see somebody naming in the comments, they say segment. Well, we know segment is the mother of serpents. So they have a whole segment invocation in the dragon literature. They got all sorts of different things in there. Even when they told on Solomon, the dragon, the path of the dragon has codes in there where they're telling you who Solomon really was. Think about it. Solomon had 300 wives and 700 concubines. But you never hear about none of his kids. But he ran legions. Legions and legions are presidents over what? Presidents over demons and dragons, right? So how did he feed? Because you got to blood feed all these things. How did he feed them? You never hear about none of Solomon's kids, do you? So they slick telling a whole lot of different stuff in there about the different rituals and things they do. But there's also a high dragon class, like you said, the green dragons, red, greens, gold.
All different types of dragons.
There's a lot of different. Respect to the Monte. Respect to the Monte. Respect to the Monte. Do y'all watch House of the Dragon? Please tell me, you watch House of the Dragon. You do.
I've watched it. Now, I didn't finish watching all of it, but I've been watching it.
Did y'all catch the part where several times the dragon trainers are melanated folks? But I know I'm reaching. I might be reaching. But now, when the black dude came, he spoke ancient Valerian. He's speaking. I should have screamed it. He's speaking ancient Valerian. And then when she told the prince to go kill the priest of the seven, their seven is really the Orisha, right? If you break it down, it's the Orisha. But when she told him to kill the priest, she said, "Your God is older than their God. You are the real." But she was talking to the black dude when she said it. Now I know I'm reaching, but with that whole more thing and everything else, and the dragons and everything else, am I reaching? No, because they have that in their real history right now. They're pretty much telling you what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They're telling you that the ancient Valerian or the ancient tongues. I'm saying Valerian. But what the brother said earlier about the tongues, how you say these different things, when we get into our ancient tongues, we can control these. When you say there's different kind of dragons, there's elemental dragons. That's the real dragons, north, south, east, west. When you got to respect each side. Hawkeye, you know that by experience, because you was at the top of the pyramid and you watched the tree. You saw the tree walkers yourself. You want to elaborate
on the tree walkers? Oh, northeast, west, and south is definitely where the winds came from. You know, everything opened up. You know, so you know that's the energy that I'll give to that. But if you want me to go in on the serpent, I'll go ahead and get that started.
Let's go.
I've heard you a little bit earlier say, if you could pull me back up on the quiet screen, because I think I heard you said a little bit earlier. You said something about star. Is that correct?
Star?
Yeah, related to the serpent.
Are you gonna remind me what part?
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure you said the word star. You connected it somehow. And then Goddess mentioned a little bit earlier. She mentioned Big Mama, from what I remember. Okay, so you know, the priestess went in on a whole esoteric scale tonight. I'm just gonna go from a small angle, from astrological angle. I'm gonna break it down to Ophiuchus.
Ooh.
Somebody in the chat brought that up too, and I said he was right on point. Yeah, where I was going. So that's where I'm going to go with it. That is the constellation called the Serpent Bearer. Okay, that is the Greek term, Ophiuchus. Okay, the Egyptian term is Imhotep. Okay, so that particular constellation, and due to the fact that it's related to Imhotep, is the constellation of medicine, healing, and just to relate to the story that I'm gonna tell about it, is when I was actually down during the ceremony and I was bringing snakes home, right? And it's funny how things just line up and work. Now, this was the biggest girl python out of the 3 that I had, okay? So I just called her Big Mama because she didn't have a name yet, right? Just Big Mama. Okay, she was the biggest one. As you see, she's nice and fat. That's a rat in her belly. She ate a rat the other day. First time. Yeah. That's Big Mama. She don't play. We talking snakes. We're gonna talk snakes now. They do eat.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
She looking good too.
So when I came up with a name, now this is before this conversation or the topic of this show tonight, anything. And Orisha Stone can testify to this. The name I came up with was Tawa, short for Tawa Ret, Big Mama, right? And it's so funny, it ties in right now tonight. So that's exactly how I'm going to tie it in to the serpents and the constellation, because a little bit known, that constellation that I just mentioned is also known as the hidden 13th zodiac sign. Okay. And we know who that would be, right? Tawa.
I say.
Big Mama.
Big Mama.
Big Mama. So that's where I'm going with it tonight. Big Mama right there, number 13, that serpent, primal energy, force energy. Very primal, very serpent-like. So that's how I'm gonna leave my little piece that I wanted to add to it, just the astrological piece.
Well, let's get into it. The serpent, the Kalakmul in society, they have beads and things of that nature, and they're really into the stones. When they say the stone tribe, they're really talking about the serpent clan. Now I see them stones on your neck and that pendant. You want to break that down for me?
Oh, for sure. I had to wear this tonight for several reasons because of the serpent. But first of all, this is serpentine stone. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer here. This is serpentine stone. Okay. The bright colored stones. The round ones here, that's bronzite. But these stones, these big oval stones, that's serpentine. So apologize for the light tonight. It looks a little yellowish, but these are really bright, colorful stones. And serpentine comes in all different types of colors. You know, it's very vibrant stone. They call it serpentine because of the way that it's formed in the rocks under the ocean. It's in the veins of the rocks, and it forms in a serpentine manner. So hence the name serpentine. Now, the perfect connection with this particular stone is the Naga pendant. As you can see, the Nagas on it, right? With the labradorite. So this is a nice homage to the Nagas and the serpents, as you can see. So on the stone, since this is a very powerful primal force energy piece. that I love. This is one of my favorites.
I say. That's a powerful piece too. That's a real powerful piece, and I'm glad you did wear it, because once we start getting into the culture, once I can identify the names and everything else, we know now who Coco Pele is. We know who Quetzalcoatl is. Look on the walls. We know who Serpent Skirt is. We know who the Moon Goddess is. Now that we know, and you start tapping in and channeling that energy, you use these serpents as messengers. You literally can use them for messengers, just like cats. They can go interdimensional. What you got on your chest is an intergalactic passport. You were talking about the Naga, and you see how they kept on saying Khan, Khan, Khan over here, but they say Khan, Khan, Khan over there too. It means the exact same thing. It's the intergalactic empire. You know what I'm saying? Did you have anything?
Yeah. I wanted to get in on the serpent, on the life force energy from the serpents, because I'm wearing these. My godmother these are old, but my godmother made these for me, and this is Nekabet and Wachet, right? And so these Nekabet and Wachet are the serpent form of Aset and Nebuchadnezzar. Now, for people, I know a lot of times people use the Greek names. They use Isis, and then I forget what they call a Nephilis or something like that, right? But again, if you I've been trained to read Melanated, just like we can read the glyphs over there, and there is no Isis on the wall. It don't say Isis. It says Aset. It don't say Nephilis. It says Nebuchadnezzar, right? And then whatever. So anyway, I get kind of picky over those names. But so when Nekabet and Wachet, or when Aset and Nebuchadnezzar go into, these are the two that you see wrapped around the symbol for medicine. And one is a red serpent and one is a blue serpent. That's who you see, right? And so when they go into their healing format, when they go into transformational energy, right, they turn into serpents. Right? So they are shapeshifters. They go into the life force energy and they do that. One of the reasons why you see, I used to even have a headdress that had the cobra on it, right? Over the first eye, right? So they say it's like a protection or whatever. But again, this is just my perspective. In that time, I don't know. Well, I guess that was the beginning of war times and things like that. But it was also a symbol of that this is awakened, right? It sees, it's a cobra. It see you before, like you said, it can see in the dark, it can see in the light, it knows what's moving and how it's moving or whatever. It has its senses. It's a symbol of this first eye, being completely activated and transformative, right? Also, every time you see the goddess represented in, again, if you read Melanated, if you've ever, studied it, the goddess always is three cobras, right? So when they show Mut, the mother, it's three goddesses, even three cobras. That's how you know they're who's speaking and in what voice they're speaking from. So some of the names may be familiar, but when they're speaking of the goddess, you're always going to see that cobra, and it also represents transformation, right? It is it's something that when we get ready to transform into, we go from our what do you call it? Our regular formation, right? And we want to transfer, just like our moon goddess was saying this, right? That we go from that being in our regular formation, and then we want to bring life to something, then the serpents are always representative of that, right? So I just wanted to get in on the little something on these serpents from the Kemetic perspective. Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna go there. I deliberately waited because we could have went straight to the Kemetic. No. And I'm glad you did it because the comments are going crazy. Somebody just said something about the alligator and the crocodile, and that is sacred medicine. The serpent is over the whole society. The serpent is over society as the messenger, especially if you go to West Africa. The serpent is the messenger of Olokun. If we're familiar with who Olokun is, right? Which is the serpent. All right, so the serpent is the messenger of Olokun. The crocodile and the alligator, they're the enforcer of Olokun. They're the enforcers of the land. Oya is the warrior of the land. You see what I'm saying? The frog entities the frog is represented by fertility, Oshun, but the serpent is over that society. The crocodiles, those are the ones to protect it. The serpent is the wisdom of it, the messenger of the different realms in that reptile and kingdom. And the turtle, of course, is the wisdom. The turtle is the elder. How old does the turtles get? And it's peaceful and lives a long life. And they say the whole, when they say Turtle Island, they're not talking about America. They're talking about the planet because they say the planet was on the back of a turtle. And they, you know what I'm saying? That's why they say Turtle Island. They're not talking about America. This is the land of plumed serpent. Turtle Island is representative of the whole. Neither here or there. You know what I'm saying? But yo, this is amazing. I don't want to get you off track. Hawkeye, going back to you real quick. Got it. You slept with all these pythons at one point in time. You slept with 13 pythons, and you got to experience them at nighttime and the daytime and everything else. And one thing about it, when we watch nature, we're supposed to learn from nature, right? What did you learn from that experience with laying and sleeping with these 13 pythons during all the events that was going on in the solar and everything else? What experience, what did you get from it? What lesson did you get from it?
I really appreciate that. I had to laugh because that was the next thing I wanted to talk about. So the practical experience of being around the serpents. So you're right on point. So the first word that I would say, and it's something that that is something I needed for myself, that I work on a lot, is patience. Patience, stillness, and patience. As much as, you know, I sit back and I watch, I still am trying to reach a certain level of patience. I'd like to achieve more. So that was one thing that was very, surreal for me, was just sitting in peace, being patient with the snakes, watching how they move. Everything is intentional. There's no wasted energy. It's laser focus. It knows what it wants, and it goes and gets what it wants. It does not play. Do not put your hand around them when you're feeding them. It does not play. When it wants something, it goes and gets it. So I love the energy of the serpent. It's wise. It can just, I've sit there at night and just, you know, it'll just stare. So I try to get on a frequency with it. You know, it'll put its head down and just stare at me and just look, and I just stare and I don't move. I just mimic the body of the serpent, you know, and I can get a sense of what it's saying to me, you know. And I know that may sound funny, but
no, I was just about to say it. I was just about to ask you. The serpent don't use words. Dembala don't talk. We were going back and forth, right? Dembala don't talk. He communicates. He just communicates, and you understand it. If you stare at that serpent long enough, you understand. You know exactly when that snake hungry. You can look in his eyes and tell you it's hungry. It tell you it's sad. It tell you it's mad. It tell you it's happy. It tell you want to explore. You know your snake. You know him. And I love that you went to the patience part. But go ahead though.
Yeah. Just a quick story about communicating with the snake. There's a big bowl in there. You put a bowl in there full of water so they can get, you know, drink and swim. And so when I first put the snakes in, there was one snake. Her name is Janaga. She looks kind of like a jaguar with the nagas, the whole mix. That's how I came up with the name. But she got into the bowl and she would just swim around. You know, she kept doing it, going around in a circle, come in and out, going around. But I could tell there was something that was missing. I could tell she was searching for something, you know, and I kept paying attention to her, you know. And so by watching her behavior and her actions and trying to understand what she's trying to tell me. I realized if I put a stone in there, she could wrap her tail around it because she was trying to moisten her skin up so she could, start shedding. So then once I put the stone in, you could tell the activity level, her behavior picked up. It was like she was having a pool party. She was swimming around, having a good time. So just paying real close attention to the behavior. She didn't have to say a word to me. I understood, from the symbols and signs that she was giving me, what she was looking for, what her needs were. So it's very intuitive to just sit there and try to dialogue on that level without using a word with the serpent. So I definitely enjoyed that and I've learned that for sure.
Man, I didn't do a video on the Temple of the Python, but like I say, this is gonna be something going because we're just touching the icing on the cake right now. But in the Temple of the Python, they break down the spiritual aspect the same way we understand the spiritual aspect of a cat or a dog, for that matter. There's a spiritual aspect of a dog. One day was a white wolf day or white dog day or something like that, and got us me out. And then they were breaking it down Friday morning. Typed in with Melanated Immortals, and they breaking it down. I go outside and it's a big white dog just walked up on me with blue eyes. I can't make it up. I took a picture. I'm looking at like, you can't make it up. You know what I'm saying? Right. So when you tap it into nature and understand these are spiritual, I don't want to just call them tools, because you, as you know by now, it's almost like family at this point. That's a 50, 60 year investment. Right. Y'all stuck together like tattoos. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I really appreciate that you taking care of them. I love the fact that you said you give them stones. You already know we were doing frequencies. It's important that we treat these things like what they are. You know what I'm saying? Spiritual royalty within themselves. When you look in the Temple of the Python, they break down all sorts of rituals. Even by taking care of a python, they say if you have a python in your home will be protected of a dome. That's why they ball up. They put a shield over their whole existence. If you take that python and go over your head, you dismiss all negative energies. And then dense energy anyway, because most slow people, as soon as they see a snake, they get scared. They protected by vipers. Stand back. They 10 feet away. Right. You see what I'm saying? So the python already is an amazing energy. Now the python is also West African python. Now our snakes are more anacondas and pit vipers to say ours, but I ain't trying to have no pit vipers at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it'll be more dangerous. I love that you said their main thing is to watch and observe and learn. You said they do what they want because they manifest it. They don't chase nothing down. They ain't looking for nothing. They ain't got no time to chase nothing down. They're gonna sit right there and they're gonna manifest, and someone's gonna come close to them, and that's when you belong to them. The universe has provided again. Exactly. I also love that they can go months without eating. What other animal do you know can go months without eating? 6 months without eating? Without movement. Without movement. They don't have to move. They don't have to be bothered. They will sit 6 months in just in hibernation mode and not eat and just sit there. As long as you got water in there, they're good. That's something that, look, I don't even want to kill. I only kill to survive whenever I have to. Laser focus. Laser focus. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I most definitely appreciate you. I'm about to switch it up again because I want to bring the goddesses on. Now, actually, goddess, I want to let the ladies go out last. Let me bring the brother in real quick because I want the brothers to connect with Hawkeye real quick. Is that okay with you, Miss Goddess Dragon? Because I am bringing you back. There we go. Boom. There we go. God, Amun, please introduce yourself to Brother Hawkeye. Hawkeye, please introduce yourself.
Brother Hawkeye, how are you, brother? Amun Scorpius Ray, MIMEC family, Ken 85, Red Resonant Serpent. You know what I'm saying? Glad to vibrate with y'all. Good thing.
Man, I am doing lovely. I'm doing lovely. I'm even better with that energy, brother. Yeah, I am Hawkeye, Ken 196, Yellow Magnetic Warrior. Yeah. I'm here to do battle, baby.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to make your acquaintance, brother.
Yes, I appreciate your vibe, man. And last words of all of it that resonated with me, what resonated the most was that conversation about stillness.
Yes.
The contentment that comes along with being still until it's time to eat. Right.
You know what I mean?
No, because what is the cultivation of the serpentine fire if it is not patient, if it is not understanding the order of the seasons.
That's right.
Right. And most of the squandering of the serpentine fire is overindulgence.
Yeah.
If all of us are serpent beings in what we call human forms, right? Well, what's spoiling our serpentine fire? Unnecessary movement and overindulgence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that word right there is big, you know what I'm saying? And then to understand what a snake is when its body is coiled, right? It understands the yoga of the perfect position to be its own generator, right? You know, to be centered in a space where I am my own generator. I can stay still and be when your snake is asleep, it may very well be remembering itself in other forms as the eternal snake, right? As the Nebhe, right? My favorite hieroglyph. You see me rocking my joint, right? My favorite hieroglyph though is the Nebhe hieroglyph, right? Nebhe translates to mean possessor of eternity, right? I discovered this hieroglyphic when I was in the 11th grade. So I was about 15 years old when I discovered that hieroglyphic. I was going to get it tattooed on my chest. At the age of 15, I was that aware of that, right? But the Nebhe hieroglyph is to eternity. It is to infinite, the infinity ropes that represent infinite time or timelessness, and the circle with the dot in it, which is symbolic of Ra and Amun Ra, right? But it's more symbolic of Amunet and Ra'et, truly, right? Because the circle with the dot in it, even though they refer to it as a symbol of the sun, it's actually a breast.
The symbol of a jet.
It's a breast, and the dot in the middle is the nipple. And so the understanding of that is that when we are getting light sustenance from the sun, we are actually getting liquid milk from the universal mother. Yeah. And the suckling of the liquid milk feeds the serpentine fire, right? And so that the name of when they have the body of the goddess over the beings, right, which is like the body of Nut, but then they say the underbelly of the celestial cow as Hathor, right? So you know the goddesses, there's a lot of interaction, exchange of names, depending on how the story is being told, right? But Hathor, under the belly, you see all of the udders. So the stars that you see at night are all of the udders. Now, all around these glyphs, you got snakes everywhere, right? Everywhere, all around the glyphs, you see snakes everywhere, right? So you got the milk coming from the celestial underbelly of the celestial cow, and the milk is called lactose, right? So the Milky Way galaxy, galactose, right? That's where the word galaxy comes from. The word galaxy comes from the word galactose, right? So our relationship with the cosmic milk and the serpentine fire and the suckling process, right? You know, we know that snakes have a relationship with milk of their own, right? There's a milky substance that comes along with your pets. But if you could tell me more about that, I'd like to know more about that part. What's the snake's relationship with milk?
Man, you tap into Damballa energy. It's crazy you say that, because that's one of the biggest rituals on a spring equinox. Put out some milk and some white eggs for Damballa. I don't know the origin of it, but it's an ancient tradition. It's an ancient ritual with that. So I don't quite understand it myself. But yeah, that it's funny you said that. I do want to bring up something though, because the goddess said earlier about that when you're a serpent or a dragon energy, you automatically are a protector of wealth. When we talk about Nagaloka, they're protector of ancient wisdom, ancient books. When they say wealth, they say ancient books, ancient wisdom, and gemstones and precious metals.
What I'm working with right now.
What's that?
Orisha, just real quick, just let me jump in. Let me go back real quick to communication between the serpents. And I want to see if you've experienced this too. But I've had a couple of experiences where this is at nighttime when I'm watching them. and I'm just doing that stare. You know, they just in this constant gaze, and I just stay in that constant gaze with just a constant gaze back and forth. All of a sudden, it's like I could see a wave. I could see, you know, my vision gets wavy. It's done that a couple of times, and I'm just wondering if you've had that experience. If you've just been at night, just staring at them, just eye to eye.
Man, you know, I be in there every night with him. You know what I'm saying? I really connect a lot with your pay, Sultan. This is my favorite guy that I do that with a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because I take him pretty much everywhere, especially at nighttime. And I sit when we do the plant medicine, I sit with him. That's the one thing I wish we would have did when we did the plant medicine is sit there and just stare at your snake and imagine what you'll see when you look at the pattern. The pattern is actually a code. It's not just a pretty design. The pattern is an ancient code that it's telling you when we talk about the DNA. Why do you think they say the DNA strands is two serpents going up? So those patterns on it, I'm really saying that the pattern because it's different codes. It's telling you different messages. But the one thing I was trying to bring up about was that we believe in wealth, and I was showing when we were talking about Quetzalcoatl and everything else. Melanated Immortals or yourself, me and this brother right here have been collecting artifacts, coins, all sorts of different things of that nature, right? Because we got to start getting back into the wealth too. Like Small get all the gold. You know what I'm saying? We got to get our stuff back. And we talking about Big Mama this, Big Mama that. We got to get Big Mama Meg back. They came and took it. We're going to take it back. Yeah. Big Mama get on top of that dragon and say, Draconis. It's time to Draconis. You know what I'm saying? I want to play a video because me and Hawkeye have been collecting these for a while. Actually, got us. You have one yourself, but this is one of the masks of Kalak Moon. And it goes down back to the gemstones. And this is why me and Amun really need to link because the gemstones are so powerful in our traditions. The tones, the frequencies, they did not do no talking. Any of those reptilian tribes, they're like samurais. They don't do too much talking. They did their mission and they put it in stone. If you look at the glyphs, when you look at the mind, he said, I came and I conquered. Now, when he said that, that means that the only thing I saw when I did translate that, when he said I came and I conquered, that means he wasn't from there either. But he made everybody in that region bow down. And that's why they got a problem with us. Because our ancestor, it says I came and I conquered Jaguar. I made him submit. And then all the rest of them submitted. And now they belong to us. So when we say like it's a lot that's going on in those histories with Kalak Mul and the Jaguar clans and the Bird clans and everything else. And I'm not even trying to revive that for the war aspect. I'm trying to make sure we don't make the same mistakes. But we gonna be the best person. We want the best aspect of that Serpent dynasty and that Serpent clan. You know what I'm saying? We want the wisdom. Going back to this, I want to show you something real quick and tell me what you think.
In Kalak Mul, the territory of one of the most prominent Mayan families of the classical period, 9 funeral masks have been found, the highest number found in a Mayan site. Among them, the highlight is the Kalak Mul mask, found in 1984. After almost 8 years in exhibition, the Kalak Mul mask has returned to the permanent showroom in the Mayan Architecture Museum in the state of Campeche. From July 6th this year, the general public will be able to see and study the jade mask, made more than 1,200 years ago. Not MIMEC.
Now, guys, what does that remind you of?
The one I was just about to run and go get it. The mask of Maakheru.
Let's talk about greenstones. We talked about greenstones. We talked about serpentine. We talked about jade. We talked about the power of the heart chakra and these greenstones. This is a tribe that surround their whole existence around a stone that represents the heart chakra.
Yes.
They represent, you know what I'm saying? They represent their whole existence is about the heart chakra. They have green, their main colors is green and obsidian, and all stones, but their main stones were jade, turquoises, obsidians, things of that nature. Now, I want to ask you, God Moon, what do you understand as an Olmec priest? What do you understand about the power, especially in Kalak Moon? We're the stone tribe. What do you know about the power of jade and why it's important for each one of us not to just talk about being in this? We're supposed to get these jade beads up.
Oh man, so jade, man, jade is called, it's labeled the stone of prosperity and good fortune, but jade is really the communicator of the dream realm into the person who is physically prepared to continue the quote dream life or the higher dimensional life. The overstanding from the heart chakra crystalline consciousness is that when you're asleep, you're living in the continuation. It's all a continuation. It's just you bouncing back and forth between multidimensional consciousness and whether or not you're living in a harmonized correspondence. Jade deals with the harmonized correspondence of your multiple timeline mind, multidimensional self, and all that you crystallize in your physical now. So more so than referring to it as a stone for prosperity and good fortune, it's a stone of good timing, being properly in sync, the right time at the right place, and being able to communicate with completion. Now, unfortunately, we do know that some of the habits, going back to the thing with the snake again, right? Overindulgences and not staying still have interfered with people's ability to receive the messages and communicate the messages that would put them in a more perfect synchronicity. Jade assists people in being in tune with that. And for those who can really adorn themselves with the mask, i.e., the movie The Mask by Jim Carrey. There it go. The movie The Mask. Yeah, listen, for anybody who's watched the movie The Mask, where he get that mask from? Where did the original mask come from? Right? And then if you study the writings, the graphic novels of The Mask, how powerful is the mask around the ability to conduct the spirit mind? And for all of my tarot readers, the Fool, expressing complete mastery over time and space so that they experience fulfillment, right? The full Maya, right? The full Leela, the full play of the mind. All the while, there's reason all about it. But the real thing is that the people who are caught up in cognitive expression have to catch up. They got to catch up. The one who is living in the fulfilled mind ain't got to catch up. You got to catch up with them. So Jade is just that powerful. The Hunab Ku coming of intertwining of interfacing of the sixth realm. Oh yeah, Jade is major important for that. Because Jade represents 5. Jade represents half square, half circle. The breaking out, the understanding the purpose of form, the purpose of Ma'at, to bring us liberation and freedom to grow and advance, to be masters of the 6, masters of the tangible and the common world.
Sure. Goddess Mayat, you know, we've been talking for a while, and this is why I love that we all here tonight together. Because me and Hawkeye, we acquired different artifacts and things of that nature, and of course the silver. And we talk about creating our own currency. So that's why I was kept on acquiring a lot of these koala dragon coins. Because I want us to build up our currency. Imagine if you had 100 Quetzalcoatl coins.
I say.
And when the price of silver drops, that's when if everybody in the tribe buys one and puts it to your trust or something like that for Melanated Immortals, now you got your own currency that represents you. That literally represents you. You know what I'm saying? Some of these are antiques. So that's Quetzalcoatl. So we got our own Quetzalcoatl currencies and everything else. Silver's the most and artifacts. How do you feel about that, guys?
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, with you sending these things in, right? It has literally changed, you know, how I think about currency, wealth, and by actually having the experience of it, right? Because you sending all these, you know, these things. Wait a minute, I got a piece right here. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what I did with it. I might have packed it up because we're about to do this show, but absolutely, I want to have one of them cases like you have, where you have all them silver pieces. I was like, oh wait a minute, I'm getting one of them. I'm getting me one. right? Because that's the key in us being able to, if this system that we're in, if it falls down, right? And you talk about this, Dr. Kia Pruitt talks about it. A lot of you guys, you're already talking about it and doing it. Then this is how we're going to. There you go, Ashay. This is how now we're going to relate to each other. This is how we're going to start doing commerce with each other. This is how we're going to start doing so-called business with each other, is through our own currency. And so, what was that on the back of that? I'm sorry.
With Jet, that's with Jet.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
gonna sound off. We most definitely gonna sound off with all the priests, and they're gonna give, you know what I'm saying, each one of them gonna give a shout out to somebody that we can do some research on. I'm glad that you said something about with Jet. With Jet, Serpent, Quetzalcoatl, Serpent skirt, all of these deities, Ryu Jin. It's so many known and unknown. The Rainbow Serpent, Axamare, I say, Dambala again, Mama Wata.
I say.
Who you got? Who you got? Hawkeye. Name one I'm forgetting, so they can do some research on.
You didn't catch me one that I couldn't think of right off the top of my head. Hey, we can go back to Taiwan Red. Hey, we ain't talked about that.
And listen, I think I said on one of these shows, when we do our winter solstice event, we actually have a ceremony that we do, and we've been doing this for almost 10 years now, where we call out all of those names. We go down the list, we call out the names, we do it in Melanated, and then we raise up the frequency of those names. And when you go down that list, remember, everybody that's watched Bobby Hemmett, right? If you watch those videos, and you'll see him invoke all those names. When you start invoking all those names and you using a different tongue, like going back to what we were talking about in the beginning, what Brother Amun was talking about, being able to say things with a different tongue. And I think I also heard you, Orisha Stone, talk about it. When you're using that tongue and you're just doing a continual invoking of these names, it does something. It shifts some energy, right? You ain't gonna leave out of there saying all them names and then saying the word is Uben, which means raise, right? And so we would invoke the name, and then we say Uben and raise up or whatever. Man, by the time you get finished, you sweaty, you you know what I'm saying? You might, you can get your own kind of high just by going through and invoking those names in a different tongue, right? And so anyway, I wanted to bring that up because you were talking about invoking the names, and it just made me go back and think about that. So we do that on the winter solstice, and MIMEC in one of our ceremonies, and we do it online.
I shall say. But did you hear my question though about how do you feel about the wealth and getting everybody to come together with commodities?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, how I feel about it is that, yeah, let's do it. Like, stop talking about it. Let's do it. Right? Let's come together. Let's do it. Let's make this our staple, right? Let's make it our standard of how we then start to communicate with each other, or the way we start to, I use the word communicate, but I mean in communion with each other. If we are, I like what you said, when you talk about some of the events that we have, right? Where we need to have a place where this is where, when we come together like that, we bring those things. We start trading with each other, right? Just like I said, I'm gonna have me a box of silver, just like you. But absolutely.
And the reason I keep bringing it up is because one thing, when we study these ancient civilizations, when you study Kalakmul, they didn't beat the Jaguar clan through war and swords. They beat them through economics. You see what I'm saying? They only did business with each other. They cut off the trade routes. They did it through economics. So that's how we defeat our enemy. They've shown in history how they did it. That's why they try to cover up that history. They don't want you to understand. Like at that point in time, the Jaguar clan was pretty much like the Greeks. Just over here, they were trying to charge taxes and everything. They want one of your women every couple months. You know what I'm saying? So they beat them through economics. So once we learn economics, once we learn how the energy of currency and everything else, we change our reality. We can create our own Kalakmo, our own Emerald City. Welcome back, guys. How you doing?
You're on mute.
Thank you so much for having me on, Orisha Stone. I'm Kin 25. I dedicate in order to thrive. Universalizing instinct. I seal the store of life force with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of navigation. So one of the other names for serpent in Olmec Mayan cosmology is Chikchan, which means medicine. It means life force, medicine, and our spine. So all this information is really, really, really coming together. Yeah, and then when you had the statue up there, the jade statue that they were hiding and burying again, one of her names was Tayo. That was really, really, really deep. And I'm thinking one of the ways to kind of raise your life force and your kundalini would be to listen to jazz music. When I say jazz, I mean like John Coltrane, the Heath Brothers, Carmen Lundy, jazz, because what happened to me one time, I went to a jazz concert, and I was looking at, I think it was Pharoah Sanders, who's now an ancestor. I was enjoying him so much that I felt my mother, who's in the ancestral realm, and my father in the ancestral realm come into me to view the show from my eyes. And then I began to see the colors coming from his saxophone, like musical notes coming out of his saxophone. And I could actually hear with my heart what he was saying. He said that we should really play jazz in the homes because it's an ancestral sound that the children really need to hear. And we need to do, you know, a lot more meditating and colors and things like that. I was like, wow, I can actually see the things coming out of his horn and really interpret what his horn was playing. So I think jazz in the home, some really avant-garde jazz, Sun Ra, things like that, because there's a whole lot of messages in the music that are still becoming to us. When I went to Kemet in 2007, it was the most magical thing besides childbirth that I experienced. It was like the Kemetic walls or the reliefs were alive and energy was coming off of it. That tacking on energy that they say is so magnetic. It's so magnetic that you can feel it. And I seen some people, they were over on this wall praying and put little notes in the wall. I said, like, what are y'all doing? They said, we praying, you know, this is the Holy of Holies or something like that. So I wrote down a prayer request and I put it in between the, you know, the bricks as well. And I'm still feeling that blessing today because of the power and the energy that was there. So yeah, everybody go to Kemet. You can't just read about it and hear about it. You have to experience it because it's magical, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Welcome back, guys. Red Dragon.
Peace, peace.
Did you have anything before we get out of here? Because I mean, it's been amazing, and like I said, we just touched the top of it. I got maybe 1 or 2 more videos, but I also love that all the information that each one of y'all brought about the different aspects of this serpent path, this dragon path, and it's not the path for everybody. It's the path for the chosen few. So and so that's why I like to collectively come together. We have our own little personal space, and this is just the beginning of building what God has made us trying to build in physical form up there with your storefront. With your well springs, and we want to contribute to. So that's why I talk about the wealth aspect. People like buying a coin a month and putting it to the tribe or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Getting into the commodity thing, getting your wealth back, getting you so prepared for whatever happens. We're kind of like move. We sustain by ourselves. We don't have to worry about any other economics outside of ourselves. So we most definitely have the power to do it. Go ahead, guys.
Oh no, I was just
gonna say, real quick, I just want to say one thing about that, Orisha Stone. I think that what you're very good at is laying out exactly how that should be done. And then, with you follow it right away. Like you'll say it, and then next thing you know, we doing it. And so I think that people need the instructions on how to do it, right? You might think because you just do it automatically. So you think that, you like, hey, it's just easy to me. You say it and then it happened, right? But I think that if you lay out that plan of exactly how that's supposed to happen, right? Because like you have a thing where people can invest with you in silver, right? And when you go or you buy these artifacts and different things like that. So people need to know how to do it. And then we can take those instructions and give it to our group and say, hey, this is how you can do what he was talking about. Because there's a lot of people who want to do it. You actually do it, and you make sure you spread that around to different organizations and different groups. So, I think that's what you need to do with that. And then we'll make sure it gets out. We'll make sure.
No, I don't want it to get out. I wanted to get in. I'm only talking to us.
Well, hey, however you do it, right?
Ain't nobody with us right now. Ain't nobody in the comments but Melanated Immortals and Orisha Stone tribe. So, man, hit that like, hit that subscribe to these different tribes. What you got, guys? Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I got two. Look at that.
All right.
Don't make me put my stones out now.
Oh, that's fluorite too, huh?
Yeah, it's a fluorite one.
That's a nice one. That's a nice one. You talk about flow. When you talk about the serpent, that fluorite regulates the body flow too as well. Yeah. So that's a perfect pairing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what is that? That's pretty. That's beautiful.
Is that amethyst?
No, that's fluorite.
Fluorite as well.
Okay.
That's crown chakra.
Yeah, right. And this one, I really like this one. When I went to a gem show in North Carolina, this is like a green kyanite. And it looks like money. So I'll keep this in my purse.
Yeah, you don't see many green kyanites. That's nice.
And, I would recommend everybody to go on a crystal dig so you can dig your own stones out. And this is one of the first stones I got. I got it from my moon many, many moons ago. Right? Went on a crystal dig, and I was mad at myself because I wasn't finding crystals because I kept moving around from different spots. When you go on a crystal dig, you need to find a spot and just sit there like a serpent and dig down in the layers of the earth, because down where the peanut butter clay is where the crystals kind of hang out. So this is what I found when I went.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Wow.
Man, look, I feel played. I feel a challenge. Hold on, wait a minute.
Oh, is that ruby? Oh, that's the ruby one.
Oh, nice.
And that came from North Carolina too. I love what she said about going to go dig your stones, because we don't understand the power we got. If you're from the Carolinas, they grow rubies and sapphires in the Carolinas like sunflower seeds. If you go out there and dig, you will find some amazing stones right there in the Carolinas and Georgia area. You know what I'm saying? So that's a ruby record keeper, and we turn it into a python, a ball python with ruby eyes.
Really nice.
But one of my prizes is this right here, my dragon motivite. I'm trying to impress Goddess Ambrosia.
Wow.
That's a motivite dragon. And then I also got a piece of motivite that's 44.4 grams. 444. So when we understand about light and numerology and frequency, that's how we can activate these stones on a whole nother, vibration. You know what time to use it. You know when to have it at the light, so the light goes through it and activate it. It's a whole lot that goes into that, and that all falls into dragon magic. Draconian magic, serpent magic, stone magic is all, like when you look at all the Nagas, they're always protecting some kind of treasure. Clark, what you got before we get out of here, Chief? Especially about the artifacts. Since you've been collecting the artifacts, how do you feel about that as a business for the community?
Oh, it's definitely something that we need to start to collect, put back in our treasure box, put back in Big Mama's banks, put back in our houses. It brings that energy around. It keeps that energy around. it sustains the energy. So it's something we need to continue just to bring around ourselves and keep around us, just to keep cultivating that particular energy. So I love it. I love the energy. So it's definitely something I'm gonna continue to do for sure. Yeah. What is that? That's an opal?
Yeah, we talk about dragon stones, so I start pulling some dragon stones out. Opal is one of the original dragon stones from Australia. We talk about the serpents from all around. Their first stone was opal, while in the other places tourmaline. So those are considered the first dragon stones. If y'all remember Dragon Tales, she always talk about a stone or whatever. It was opal. You can't really see it good here, but let me see if I can.
Yeah, we can see it good. It was pretty good. Good shot.
Okay. Damn.
Nice.
Pull back.
This a bit of light in there.
I see. Yeah,
And the more colors.
I need that one.
Yeah. Tourmalines. Get into the stone game because this is wealth. This is what they talk about when they talk about bricks, rare earth minerals, because tourmaline actually produces energy as well.
Yeah.
Now I might not know how to do it now, but that doesn't mean, guess what? It's still gonna be here when I do figure it out. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna melt, it ain't gonna evaporate. This is wealth. Wealth, the only thing you consider wealth is something that lasts forever. Gold, silver, precious minerals, precious stones, things of that. That's the only wealth. If it don't last forever, it's part of the illusion.
You got the black opals left? You got any of those? Those are nice too.
Black opal?
Yeah, you got any of those
left? This one, but you can't really see that one real good.
Yeah.
And then I got a lot of small ones. Yeah. But you know what I'm real big fan of right now? The guy that said something about the cosmic egg, and I get a lot of ruby star sapphires, right? Ruby star sapphires. If the light was on right now, that thing would be hit with a 6 point.
Yeah.
And then these right here, Persian turquoise.
Yeah.
These are Naga stones. These help activate when I think it was the goddess we're talking about. We don't talk about the chakras enough. When you start getting these stones, especially when you can start getting like real quality stones and not just the tumble stones that these folks give to you, they're trying to control the market. Once you start controlling the market and get into your own market, and we make this into a real market, man, we're gonna take it to a whole nother level. Welcome back, God.
Yes.
You left us on a cliffhanger. What you got there?
That's the dragon jasper right there.
Oh, wait a minute.
My phone died at my last line when I.
Oh man, I got one like that. I like that. That's Aries
dragon
stone
jasper right there. So we talk about activation of the serpentine fire. Woo, baby! I hold this in one hand, and I hold this super quartzy kyanite in my other hand, and the energies get to dancing. Awesome to when I'm jogging too. When I'm jogging, hold one in each hand and just because the piezoelectric qualities. You know what I'm saying? It creates that whole activation wave flowing through the system. You know what I mean? More serpentine fire. Yeah.
And the green in that is epidote. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. You got it.
Yes, exactly. So
look, that's the Aries stone too. I'm gonna tell you a ritual. When you read the Curious Lord Gemstone, they say if you're Aries, every new moon, look onto a bloodstone or a dragon bloodstone. If you just look on it, you grant yourself good luck and abundance of prosperity. So sometimes you gotta try it. You gotta mess around and find out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Another good stone for conductivity.
What's that?
That is what they refer to exactly, spirit quartz, right? Or some people call it cactus quartz, right? Excellent stone for conducting in a way where your movements, your direction, your principle, your discipline supports the many. All those who are with you, those who see you, those who honor you, those who you work for, pray for, wish well for, because the main crystals growing represent the foundational connection to the all, and then the main points being us as primary forces, but then all the gems growing on it represent all the supportive forces and all those who are supported by you. Yeah, so big thing.
I want
to say, Brother Amun, every February he does not gym shows. He does a
Retreat.
What is it? A retreat. Yes, a retreat. And they go and they look at the gems and stuff like that. He's been, I don't know, you can tell him, but I wanted to make sure I bring that up.
You coming this year. you coming. You talking about you bringing it up.
I'm coming.
Yes, that's right. Come on. Every February, International Rock and Gem Festival, we do a retreat called Crystal Sun Rising. Myself and Master Teacher Ross Ben, and we bring in family and friends to facilitate workshops. A lot of amazing. We do some amazing hikes. It's so much. We go to Sedona. We got a oasis that we found out in Tucson. It's very magical. It's very alive. And then on top of that, it's the same time as the International Rock and Gem Festival. So as far as international connections, getting personal connections with the Peruvians, the Brazilians, the Argentinians, the Chile fam, the Mexicans, northern and southern Mexico, the miners all through the Rocky Mountains, Montana, Arkansas, Washington State, people from British Columbia, a lot of Afghanistan, Lapis Lazuli, South Africans. We got a great Congo and a great Namibian connection. Got some solid China connect. Like, the internet. Like, we're big on planetary consciousness and tuning into the mineral elemental kingdom is one of the ways that we satisfy our planetary I am resonance. But then as a social practice, to already have this vibrational serpentine connection with the living life force, and then to also make your social connection with the people who live in these regions that are delivering these things to us themselves. It's a magnificent event, and it's a graduation of all that we are as planetary beings and as international representatives.
That's it.
I love the comments, man. Tuning into girl, my motivate, keep me grounded. I'll say that's real smart. You want to balance your energies out. It's all about synergy. Goddess, man, before we get out of here, yes, man, go ahead.
Can I bring up, we talked about, I wanted to bring up another dragon. Remember the sister that brought the big Olmec piece?
Yes.
Yeah, she been sleeping with it under her pillow and all kinds of things. And I wanted her to come up and just talk about that briefly for a moment if she's available. Sister I don't know if she's okay. I think they
definitely wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, yes.
While we waiting, I'll play one more video to play with our mind a little bit.
You abandoned your mother.
No. She abandoned me.
And yet you were the one who fled.
I was a child.
That is why it became your religion.
What did?
Believing whoever leaves you takes the world with them.
For a child, they do.
Then the child must grow.
Into what?
Someone who learns there is more than one world.
And more than one mother?
Careful. Blood hates that question.
But is it true?
Aren't you standing here?
Why does the first one still hurt?
Because you were small enough to mistake her for the universe.
And now?
Now you know a world can end without you ending with it.
There's a lot of wisdom that goes in there, but part of it, that Ogun energy where we got too far away from nature and too far away from, the mother energy, So getting back to that mother energy. And I love how they put the python in there showing that big mama energy. We don't want to acknowledge it. We don't want to look in the mirror because they say it's ugly. They say it's scary. They lied when they said they kept burying the statue just because they buried that statue because there was an energy frequency off of it. They couldn't destroy it. And the people weren't just bringing offerings to it. They were getting results. The only time people bring something to them, they're getting results, miracles, things of that nature. It's also made out of granite, which is a magnetic stone within itself. So when we talk about serpent skirt, there's a lot to that when they were moving around. Every time they moved it, the weather changed. When you look at the Viracocha statue, every time they touch that statue, it thunderstormed and rained for days and days after they moved it. You know what I'm saying? So they know how it affects the hemisphere and all this energy and the ley lines. So, before we get out of here, Please tell us how to get in contact with Melanated Immortals. I want to do this again because, like I said, we only scratched the surface, and I appreciate each one of your priests for their wisdom on bringing the knowledge of the serpent wisdom a little bit back tonight. Do you have anything before we get out of here?
Oh, you talking to me?
Okay.
I'm sitting there. Yeah, I mean, I the thing that I would take away from this is that all of these energies, no matter which ones we're talking about, one of the things I always like to talk about is when we're talking about these archetypes, depending on which one we're talking about, these are they are the energies that we all have access to, right? And you know what we brought forth here with the serpents and the dragons, and then we got the warrior, and then you got yourself the Skywalker that's in the serpent wave spell, right? These are the specialties, and so we love to show the actual living and breathing archetypes that we're talking about. There's living that, you know, they live in that serpent life, right? You and brother Hawkeye, you are raising pythons, you are learning, like, you know, brother Hawkeye, he's learning, you know, and I love what he said about it. It's getting me to, you know, not be like, okay, I don't know about no no python, but just listening to his journey, you know, and so we can learn a lot by that. And then we have two of the life force itself, Mutayo Satiji. I mean, from the moment I met her, before I even knew what archetype she was, once they said, sir, I was like, okay, I get it, because she moves like one. You all definitely have to come through to our events. You can see her in rare form. Okay. she unapologetically life force, the mother of serpents. She lives it, breathes it. Brother Amun, I don't believe he sleeps. I think he does, but I don't know. I ain't got no proof. I had to ask. I gotta ask Rachel to see if he actually does. But definitely that life force that. And what I like about him is he has that ability, like whatever it is that we're talking about or what we're doing, he puts that force of life into it. He speaks it, he breathes it in there, you know, whatever. So that has been my experience with these two. And this, though, is the energy that we all have. It's just that we got the examples showing up here. We got Priestess Initiate, Moon Goddess, who is a dragon, who definitely comes in and represents that nurturing, universal cooperation of the mother and how she, you know, her presence and things like that. And then, you know, I definitely got to shout out Mutayo, I'm saying Mutayo, Priestess Mutma Nefer Habibula, who's in the background, right? Her physical body is the dragon. And so that's why she is that doting mother, like she dotes over you. Now, look, I be feeling some kind of way that she over here too, right? But anyway, but she's that doting mother, and definitely making sure everything is in order and things like that. So this is, yeah, definitely not the first time that we'll be able to do this, that you can actually see these living examples of this energy. That was one of the reasons for bringing that forth, and how we are integrating, we're remembering this stuff again. We're remembering how to do that. And you know, just even through having the serpents, through seeing these living examples and learning about it. I love the videos that you show, because now I'm gonna go back, because there was some stuff in there, and there was some activations just by looking at especially that statue. So I want to go back and look at that again and see you know, what comes off of that. So I do thank you for having us here. It definitely has been an honor. It's always an honor to be here, and I yield.
The pleasure is most definitely mine. And like we said, a lot of that stuff is in the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian destroyed a lot of stuff. If you look at the archives, the Smithsonian is telling you where all this stuff is coming from. That's why they gotta hide it. We talked about, I think Mama Kali was just talking about recently about the Grand Canyon and all the statues they found down there. So that's the evidence we need. We don't have to have no more conversation. I just pointed out for us to do our research on it, not to argue anybody about anything, but to say, yo, this is the evidence of what we're talking about right there. That's truth written in stone.
I say.
Hawk, you got anything before we get out of here, Chief?
Yeah, all I can say is, yo, let's keep building. Let's keep cultivating our serpentine fire. Let's keep understanding, understanding, and practicing the serpent medicine that will show and prove transcending the times, transcending the social disorder. Like, there's things going on in the external construct that are really trying to intimidate people and scare people out of their personal power. But for the most part, it's just trying to convince people that they don't have power. That's it. If you're not convinced that you're powerless, all of the stuff on TV is just stuff on TV. It's all about what you're tuning into and what you're activating through your practice. And so when we practice together, that's a powerful thing.
I say. And if they want to get some theory from you, hey, I'm a fan of your work. You know what I'm saying? If they wanted to get some pieces from you, how can we get in contact with you?
So my Instagram, Temple of Soul, Temple of SOL. Temple of SOL on Instagram. Website, zodiankh.com. ZODIANKH. Zodiankh.com. The website is a little bit slower than the Instagram just because things move faster on the social media piece, but both of them are good places. You can always send me messages if you want custom made pieces. I spend a lot of time doing custom work while I finished the custom piece today while we were talking. So yeah, it's fully active and I'm glad to be of service.
I serve and I'm of service. I say Goddess, I don't want to Goddess move. I love your crystal. First off, I love your crystal game.
Thank you.
Please tell us how can we support you. And big shout out to your king in the back. Man, I saw him back there. I'm like, yo, what's up, guy? He ain't said nothing. What's good? Peace to the guy, man.
Dragon. That's a dragon.
Hey, my bro, what up? What up?
That's what the Drake's supposed to do. He don't say nothing. He wait for the queen to say something. When she say Draconians, that's when he gonna pop out. He's just over there minding their business. I'm like sheep stealer. But yes, guys, how can we support your business? Or tell us how can we get in contact with you?
Yes, I would like everybody to tune in to Monday nights on 89.3 FM, where I do a fantastic jazz program, me and Thought Cedar. We do metaphysical interviews and we talk about the galactic signature of the artists that we play. So that's every Monday night from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time on 89.3 FM WRFG. Me and Thought Cedar are on the farm right now. So we run a farm store. We got goats out here. We got chickens out here. We got watermelons. We got peaches. We got okra. We got tomatoes. And of course, we got the showroom. So if y'all want to send me some pieces, some jewelry, hey, we got some spots over there for them. We got amber. We got shea butter. We got oils and things like that. So you can support us by going to our TikTok. What's our TikTok name?
Cedar Seeds for Thought.
I say. Yeah. Hey, I heard consignment. I'm good for a consignment now. Look, kind of like more. I like currency.
Yes.
I appreciate the wisdom that you brought tonight, and thank you, and your husband for allowing me to have, you know what I'm saying, have some of your time. Yo, Hawkeye. Yo, man, I appreciate you for coming through too, man, and I'm chopping up with the tribe, and especially when you break it down about the whole 13 Zodiac. What do you got before you get out here, Chief, and how can we support you? I don't want to hear all that. Oh, man, I'm good. How can we support you, man? How can we support your business? You got getting all these artifacts. I know you're trying to sell some. You can't follow. You can't keep them all. How can we buy some of these artifacts from you, Chief?
Well, when I'm ready to sell, then I'll let y'all know. But what y'all can do for me is keep vibing with the tribe. Keep coming back. We building. We got great things coming. It's always in works. Like this serpent we talking about tonight. We sitting back. we're strategizing, and when we're ready to strike, we're gonna come strong. So y'all just keep on coming around. We're gonna keep on building.
I see. I see. And last but not least, Goddess Moot, how you doing? Now you didn't tell me nothing about you had the dragon in your chart.
Also, since you mentioned that, I wanted to say now I'm also tied to the serpent by the emotional body. Red serpent, emotional body. So I did not mention that. So there's another tie too as well. So I just didn't want to say I'm a serpent bear. I also have that as a part of my emotional body.
You're literally holding a serpent. You're the serpent bearer. Look, for the fact that, like I said, man, I know we don't talk about all the ceremony, but the fact that you walk up that pyramid, there was a whole lot of people that won't make that walk, and you actually tapped in. A lot of people go up there. That don't mean they get in. The ancestors don't grant, access to everybody. Yes. So most definitely a serpent bearer. Goddess Moot, I didn't know you had dragon in your chart. Tell us about it.
Oh yeah, man. I actually it was last night that I think I first mentioned it when I expelled it out. My planetary partner, my physical body is the dragon. Okay, so I walk, I live, I move. I pulse. Because I am the white mirror. I don't think I shared that last night. I'm the white solar mirror. Right. And so I pulse in order to reflect. And when I reflect, I'm reflecting whatever is coming at me. And sometimes I'm reflecting myself, until some others. But when I do this, when this is going on, when I'm in my body, all right, my physical body, that dragon, that nurturer shows up in like what I'm doing here. Right. I'm in the background. I don't need to be up front, but I'm back here like rocking, and I'm humming and I'm amening and all that. I'm shaying and all of that. So my energy is real and is real in the space for what it is that we're doing here on Orisha Stone. But I'm also bringing enchantment. I am with the wizard, the jaguar, as my spirit guide, my spirit body. I'm bringing, the artist, or as we call the star, as my mental challenge and gift. And then I'm also bringing in, I'm bringing in the night, which is the dreamer, as my emotional body. So with me being the mirror, reflecting all of this energy in the space, y'all. I'm up in here. I'm like, I'm learning, I'm reflecting, I'm feeling, I'm experiencing, I'm grounding, I'm sealing, I'm rising, I feel the heat. When Mama T was, Mutayos TG, in the beginning, when she was moving, I was feeling it, because life force, I've realized, is something that has been in us, like y'all have been saying all along. But it's, when does it come to life? And when do you really know that's what you're operating in? And so I remember back in the day, but then I aim to be back in the flow, just like Mama T was showing. I call her Mama T, y'all. It's just what's in my heart. But I love when she does the tone dance, because she's still exemplifying the movement of the snake. And then there's a song by some artist, my aunt used to share with me, called Horizontal Dancing. It's a sexual song, but it's a jazz song too, right? And so the horizontal dancing that we do aligns with the serpent energy, Ashe. And so when we get in that flow, we get in the mode, and all the heat and the fire and the life that is formed in between, whether you're with someone or you are with yourself, it just vibrates so high and on so many different levels. So I'm enjoying my dragon body, and I'm enjoying my dragon connections, and I'm enjoying my life force connections. I am in the year where I'm guided by life force. Okay. So, as Ken 178, I just came into my Skywalker, my exploration year of space and time, but I'm guided by the serpent. Ashe, is that right, Mama T? I'm right on that, right? Okay. So being that, y'all, I'm walking in this. I'm about what we talking about in this space right here and now. And so yes. I'm gonna keep bringing this energy into Orisha Stone because I know he is the sky serpent. And that's what he's about. Even to the point he got me sitting up here the second thinking, it's time for me to go ahead and dive back into that because I used to have my own serpents. I did. I raised serpents, not as in raising them, but I had them as pets, as you would call it, when I was younger. But I'm not at them. I'm not at all. It's just
May I get social world springs? We got me out social world springs. I'm gonna send you some.
Yeah, she gonna have to manage them.
She ain't gonna be about them.
I see.
No, I'm sure I'll have help.
Also, big shout out to Goddess, Moon Goddess. If you want to support her, tap it with her on Friday mornings, and because I don't know her CashApp right now, but tap in with her and support her. Also, before we get out here, can each one of you name a serpent deity that somebody might want to do some research on, and we'll go around with that before we get out of here.
Ningazita.
Quincy Kowaldo.
I'm trying to remember the one that was in the video. I'm trying to think of another one other than the comedic.
Her name is Serpent Skirt.
Okay, yeah, I got to go back to that. I'll tell you this: the one that I will be doing research on is what the name I heard that had Eek in it.
I see.
Eek Knob, something like an Eek Knob, whatever. Yes.
Look, be careful you'll find what you're looking for now. Look up the Red Queen. What you got for us, guys? Move. What got you say?
Chikchan, but there is I forget what the Yoruba call the serpent, the rainbow serpent. Is it Asmara or
Oxamare?
Yeah. Do some research on that in Chikchan and Dambala.
And Dambala, I see. What about you, Chi?
Amun? Amun or Hawkeye?
Hehet. 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 Yes.
Okay. I see. Big shout out to Mama Wata. Big shout out to Olakun, Umoja, you know what I'm saying? All the known and unknown, they like samurais. They don't do too much talking. But I appreciate everybody for coming out and bringing the knowledge, and we're gonna make sure I keep on trying to do more and more. That's pretty much it for tonight.
Shay, I literally just received the Mami Wata book, so I'll be diving into Mami Wata.
I say, Goddess, the Goddess, she said something amazing. She said she want to hear some jazz tonight. You end us up with some jazz?
Okay, I can give y'all some jazz. Do you want me to do the end? You want me to do your
Just the jazz?
Or you want me?
Just let them hear the Priestess and let them vibe out. Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion?
I say. We'll do that. All right, hold on. Let me get it set up. Y'all talk a little bit.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
There's this guy named Joe Henderson who did an amazing album with Alice Coltrane. The album is called Elements. There's a song called Fire that I think.
Oh, you got to play that one. You got to play that one in if you can find it. You got to play the Fire.
Fire, Joe Henderson, Elements album with Alice Coltrane. That's just a suggestion. I'm just throwing it in the pot.
I see.
Yeah, and I've been diving into Sun Ra too. Sun Ra is good.
I see.
All right, we ready. We set. Everybody, thank us so much for.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank us so much for showing up and being a part of the Serpent Bearer activation. I'm sure this is not going to be the last discussion we have on it because there's so much more to gain from it. All of our guest speakers and our definite co-hosts, High Priestess, Maakheru. We had Mutayo Satiji in the space. We had Hawkeye number 7 in the space. Brother Amoon in the space. And who else none other than our very own Orisha Stone, bringing in this serpentine energy, the fire all up in this. So y'all put it up there in the chat. Give much gratitude definitely to our investors, definitely to those of us who are being about this energy that we rise in every single, I say plasma, some say day. But let's be about this. Make sure y'all keep tuning in and returning and building upon that which we're putting out today, because Orisha Stone is doing the work. He is doing a serious work, bridging the bridges, exposing the opportunities, sharing it all with us free of charge. All we ask is that you visit melanatedimmortals.com at the meta shop and take a hold of the artifacts, take a hold of the treasuries, take a hold of the jewels and the crystals and the magic that is put into things like, this here, jade, orange jade dragon, ashe pieces, and invest in your silvers, invest in your golds, and invest, period, in yourselves. I give thanks. So we're going to go ahead and close out. Peace and love. Hold it true to who you are.